Hello and welcome to Meow Mix, a Carolina Panthers podcast. My name is Jerry. Steven, I guess fortunately, is running behind and I have some times today earlier. So we just went ahead and I'm just going to knock this out because it was not pretty and I'm sure Steven does not want to relive it once he's done watching it. Oh man, this was a slaughter. Oh, come on, Panthers. We suck again. I mean, I just keep constantly going back to that water boy scenario of, oh no, we suck again, because this was pathetic. Our defense looked abysmal. I mean, wow. Their run games that struggled most of the season just kind of took over, started running the ball pretty well, and that opened up the secondary and the pass rush again. Nowhere to be found. Even when they got a little pressure on them, they still were engaged with their linemen, so Caleb Williams was able to scramble. I mean, he had, 34 yards rushing today. Just sad. Sad and pathetic attempt by this team. I am live right after the game, so if you're listening on YouTube Live, feel free to message in because, again, I will be going solo today. But, I mean, it started off all right. Nice 3-and-out by the defense. And then on the second drive, the Panthers drove the field nicely, got that touchdown. It was a big play by Chuba, and then a touchdown, perfect, great. Up 7-0, feeling good. Then they just marched down the field, scored 7 points. 7-7, okay, and then we go out right away again, and then they march back down, touchdown again. 14-7. Same thing happens. We get a couple first downs and then punt. They get the ball back. Drive the length of the field. Score. Down. 20-0. It was just like boom, 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 boom. And it was like our defense couldn't slow them down. Our offense didn't have a chance. The offense looked kind of like it had before Andy Dalton stepped in. I mean, a lot of checkdowns, a lot of stuff that he just seemed off, to be honest with you. I saw a lot of throws that he was making the first two games that were just a little out of the reach. I don't know what it was, if it was something the Bears were doing. But then, we lose Tommy Tremble. We lose Taylor Moton. We lose Austin Corbett. I mean, there's so many players. Jadeveon Clowney we lost too. I mean, man. I mean, this team has no depth, and when we're losing that many players, it's almost insurmountable to come back and win this type of game. I'm really shocked at once it started going downhill, how fast and how really sad it was just going down. I mean, I don't even know. I got a comment in here by Flying High. Should have kept running with Chuba. We quit running for no reason when the game was still in reach. 100% agree with you. 100%. It was crazy why they went away from that. Chuba was having a great game. I mean, he still had a really good game. I mean, he almost broke 100 yards on 13 carries. 13 carries. I don't understand why they did go away from that. I mean, that's a great point there, Flying High, because I was wondering that in the game, because he's been the best player on offense for this team. And I don't know why you're not going back to that well, because he's a beast. Yeah, he coughed up a ball, but I mean, look at that. 7.5 yards per carry. I mean, yes, he had that 38-yard one, but still, that's massive. Just 19 carries to 35 passes. I know we are down most of the game, but that's just not the way this team's going to win, especially the way this offense plays. This offense just isn't good. I mean, or the defense is just not good. They can't stop anything. They can't stop the run. They can't rush the passer. The secondary's okay, but it's not like stellar that could make up for the deficiencies in the pass rush. J.C. Horn, we kept hoping he would stay healthy. Now he's healthy, and he looks pedestrian. I mean, just so bad. Oh man, guys, I'm really really sad how this game went. It was just crazy. Um, Jeremy McKinney, the defense is the issue. I agree. Yeah, they're bad. They're really bad. I don't know, and I don't think there's anything fixable about it. I mean, with losing Derek Brown, losing Shaq Thompson, losing Josie Jewell, and now losing Jadeveon Clowney, I mean, there's only so much we could do. Yes, flipping the whole defense a lot in the offseason wasn't good, but at least bringing some guys in familiar with the scheme. But look at our secondary. Mike Jackson, Dane Jackson's coming back, DJ Wonnum. All those guys that we're banking on haven't played in a Panthers uniform yet. Like, not serious games. So at what point, I don't expect them to come in and just flip the script. I mean, it would be great if they do, but I don't know. Flying high, we played into the Bears' strength. They have a great secondary, best we have seen, but are terrible against the run. Yeah, 100%. I mean, flying high is. Are you reading my mind? Because that's exactly what I was thinking. I mean, why throw? Why throw against the secondary when your run game was doing so well? It's just, it doesn't make sense. I feel like Canales kind of, I don't know if he was feeling high on himself. I just don't think he had a really good game plan offense. Evero, I don't think had a good scheme up on defense. I mean, both were getting penalties for too many men in the huddle. It felt very, I don't know why it didn't seem like they were ready for this game compared to last week and the week before. I mean, I know they got a little bit more, other teams now have more, tape on Andy Dalton and this style of scheme and stuff that Canales plans on running. But, I mean, it's still, like Flying High said, that they were going into the defense. They were going into the strengths there. And that's just inexcusable to a certain extent. I mean, your run game has been going well. Your offensive line has been playing well. Why would you throw the ball so much? Especially when they were going no huddle so much at the beginning. I think you want to slow it down so your defense has more time on the sideline to see if maybe they could check into something a little bit better later on. I mean, okay, hey, they're really feeding DJ Moore, who had a stellar game, which not unexpected considering he was facing the Panthers. Just, I don't know, man. It felt ugly. It felt ugly, maybe because I know that we're going to get nonstop Chicago fans laughing at us because we gave up the King's ransom for Bryce Young, and Bryce Young's not even playing, even though he did play one quick series, got a couple plays in there, but nothing. That game is over. Oh, it's sad when your franchise quarterback, quote unquote, is playing in scrub time like that, but it is what it is. I'll be right back. Kyle, no huddle broke down our defense. This shit is getting old. Agreed. I mean, it's really tough because of the simple fact that we're not used to having such a bad defense in this as a Carolina Panthers fan base. This is the worst defense I have ever seen. I mean, for the Carolina Panthers, I do need to preface that. I mean, they've given up the most points in the first few games. And it looks like they're going to continue to be, giving up 36 this week. 36 to a rookie quarterback who has struggled for the most part, and you're hoping that it would go. Unfortunately, it just... I think it's too much damage Evero can't reverse. I just don't think Evero has that ability to make that much has gone down with losing Frankie Louvu, losing Dante Jackson, losing basically everyone in the secondary except Xavier Wood and J.C. Horn. I mean, then you lose Derek Brown early. Now Shaq Thompson, there's just not the guys out there. Like I said, I just don't know how they can right this ship on defense. Jay, welcome back. I'll get you your hat. Don't worry. It is sitting downstairs in a box, and I just gotta find time to get to the post office. Flying high again. 2011 defense was bad. Cam's rookie year. Only other defense we had that was bad. Yeah. Kyle Evero is gone. I don't think Evero's going to be gone after this season. I don't think this is an Evero problem. I think this is we paid Jimmy to pay Paul in the sense of we took too much from the defense so we could get those offensive linemen and get those receivers and everything. And now it's just a decimated roster on that defensive side. And once a couple guys go down, which they've lost 3 key injuries, I think that's it. I think that it's just too insurmountable for them to come back. Kyle's coming back I honestly think Dave is holding on to what he has this year and plans to be his team. I'm not following that one. But yeah, we're sitting at 15 minutes in here, this stream. I'm going to go over some stats, and then I'll come back to the questions in the comments. Carolina passing, Andy Dalton was 18 for 28, 136, and 1 interception. Again, he just looked off today. A lot of people on or players on offense and defense kind of just off. Bryce Young, 447, 58 yards. That was scrub time on both teams. Chuba Hubbard, honestly, you need to be getting the ball a lot more. 13 carries, 97 yards, 1 touchdown. Just ain't cutting it. Especially coming into that third quarter, even with us down 3 scores, you need to feed him the ball. Wear out a defense. Couple receivers here. Jalen Coker makes an appearance, and he honestly looked good. I would not be shocked that if he gets more playing time, especially with Leggett going down with that shoulder injury. I think that's why he saw the field, and honestly, he looked better than Mingo out there. So, okay. Let's see if he has more in the tank. Speaking of Jonathan Mingo, 2 for 37 on 5 targets. Sanders, 2 for 27 on 3 targets. Yeah, I don't know why I'm still seeing Miles Sanders as much as I am. Especially early on. I know Chuba needs a rest, but I felt like the second drive third drive pulling Chuba for Miles after he had that really good play seems silly. Like I said, I think you need to run with the hot hand. Unless he's tired, I would not be taking Chuba out for Miles Sanders. Deontay Johnson had a very quiet game to the chagrin of my fantasy team. 3 receptions, 23 yards, no touchdowns on 6 targets. David Moore, 2 for 13. And JT Sanders, 3 for 13, who is now in concussion protocol. There's nothing you could say. That hit was brutal. Illegal, but brutal. I hope he's okay. Fumbles. Dalton had 2 fumbles, but recovered 2. Chuba had that one that lost, and Tommy Trimble had the one where he got concussed, and we lost that one. Defense. Trevin Wallace led the team in tackles with 15. I was hoping to see something from him. He was around the ball a lot, but he didn't make those splash plays that I was hoping. But he is a rookie. Xavier Woods, 7 tackles. Okay. J.C. Horn, 6 tackles. Again, I'm kind of down on J.C. Horn this season compared to where I thought he was going to be. Shy Tuttle, 6 tackles. Troy Hill, 6 tackles. Chairless, 5 tackles. And just on and on. No one really stepped up on defense, and that's kind of sad, especially they really needed to. Chicago, Caleb Williams, he looked really good. This is, if you want a number 1 overall pick and you're kind of nervous like Chicago was the first 2 weeks, this is a game to really reel you back in and think, okay, he could be the guy. 20 of 29, 304, 2 touchdowns. he was making smart plays. The O-line held up, which, again, they didn't have the greatest O-line, but not hurting too much as the Panthers got 1 sack, and that was in the first quarter. So, rushing, DeAndre Swift, 21 rushes, 73 yards, and they kept going after him and going after him, even though he wasn't really being very successful, something this coaching staff on the Panthers should have done with Juba. Caleb Williams, like I said before, 5 for 34. Roshan Johnson, 10 rushes, 25 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now, receiving, we kind of all knew DJ Moore was going to be a focus for the Bears, and yeah, 5 receptions, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns. Cole Kmet, 3 receptions, 57 yards. I mean, tight ends just always eat on us on this defense, so not shocked there. DeAndre Swift, 2 receptions, 47 yards. Romeo Odunze, 5 receptions, 40 yards. I didn't realize he got the ball that much. Keenan Allen, 3 for 33, and Gerald Everett, 2 for 22. I mean, they had 4 sacks on us, just 10 quarterback hits. This was the worst game for our offensive line. Oh, just not pretty. All right. Now, real quick, I'm going to go over our chat here to kind of catch up after those stat overview. Flying high, only problem I have with Evero is he is forcing a 3-4 on us. Yeah, I don't know if it's so much of a 3-4 as it's just kind of a trying to play with his best players. Kyle responded he's still using picks from the past coach. Yeah, I mean, this whole, again, there's no depth on this team. I mean, Scott Fitterer made sure that we had no depth for the future, and, you know, Dan Morgan's got to dig us out of that. I mean, it's not going to happen in one offseason as much as I wish it would, and all these injuries piling up, it's going to go. Bro man, not a fan of 3-4 defense. We need to go back to the 4-3. I think the 3-4 and 4-3, I'm more of a fan of 4-3 because I've seen more success on it. The 3-4 does offer you a little bit more flexibility, and when it gets cooking, I think you could really cook with the 3-4, especially if you get those edge rushers that play really well in it. If you look, I'm throwing it way back, guys, if you remember, but remember our Dom Capers, I think we were running some 3-4 and stuff like that with Lamar Latham and Kevin Green as our outside linebackers, and that defense was sick. I think you do need to find what your personnel does best and play to their strengths. So, I don't know. Last year, Evero kind of won me over with how bad some of the roster was and how bad our secondary was, and he just kept making them win. And I think that giving him time and better players, even though he made a lot with not much last year, I think this year it's just the injuries and everything is already down more. Kyle responded, what I'm saying is that isn't Canales' team yet? He's going to clean house after this year, I think. He was forced to use what he was given to him. Yeah, I mean, I think there was already a good bit of turnover in the offseason, and I think he did bring in a lot of his guys. I mean, I don't think Sanders will be back. I don't think Ian Thomas will be back, but Deontay Johnson, I think, was brought in as part of it. Leggett is definitely part of his plan as he drafted him, and he kind of fits that mold of DK Metcalf and Mike Evans. So I think he's trying to make him into that type of player. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be a whole roster changes. Next 2-3 years, I mean, you're going to see only a few guys on this roster that you recognize. Flying high, imagine we don't trade up, stayed at 9 and drafted Jalen Carter. Him and Brown together would have big, yeah. Oh, man. That would have been nasty. Jalen Carter and Derek Brown, 1-2. hey, even with Derek Brown's injury today, or this year, we would still be hopefully a good run defense. I mean, I would go, if I was Canales, I would look around the league. All rush defense is giving up a lot of yards. Look at it. Just around the NFL, passing yards are down, but rushing yards are up. I would try to go to more of an old school smash mouth team. I think that is a way to currently put yourself in position to win, because most teams are still trying to get that air raid type of offense. And now with Vic Fangio's, shell defense, Evero runs a shell defense, not as well today, but I think that's the way of the future for a team. I've always noticed that in the NFL, it's kind of cyclical. It goes really good run teams and stuff like that. Run defense, run teams. Then it comes to a passing scheme, West Coast and stuff like that. And then once that starts trending, then it will go back to running. And I think we're going to catch the running in the next 2-3 years. Just my theory, and I'll see if it happens. I mean, passing is always going to be fun, and it's always going to be there where there's just good guys. But unless you have that Mahomes or something, I think that's what most teams are going to start leaning towards. All right. We are now 25 minutes in. I am going to go ahead and let everyone know that gambling for the children. We did hit our gambling for the children this week. So congratulations to the children. We won $21 on our $10 bet, so that goes into the prize pack for St. Jude's. Good job, Chuba. I mean, we bet on Chuba last week, didn't win it. He almost got it. Bet on Chuba this week, we got it. So there we go. $21 to St. Jude's, and we'll honestly, prop bets for Chuba is going to be our go-to on this. Heroes and zeros, I'm going to go hero as Chuba, as no one else I thought looked halfway decent, to be honest with you. And zero. Whole defense? I mean, can I do the whole defense? I mean, they just gave up so many, what was it, 4 or 5, possessions in a row. They just gave up points. You can't do that. Flying high, do you think we could be having a fire sale this week? While I look at Spot Rack to see who we can really get rid of, I mean, Shaq Thompson would have been a potential guy I could see getting moved. Miles Sanders, if anybody wants to eat any of that contract. I don't know who else would be available in a trade. You can't trade Derek Brown. A, he's our best player. B, you're looking at, a lot. He's injured. You can't get rid of him. Same with Shaq. So, Austin Corbett, I mean, I think he's on to the last year of his deal. Icky has played well enough that I would say I think that would be a dumb move. Clowney, you don't get rid of the only pass rusher you have. Shy Tuttle, no. I mean, I guess you could get rid of Shy Tuttle if anybody wants him, but I just don't see anybody that anybody would want. I mean, I guess you could get rid of Chuba. Deontay Johnson, flying high, suggested. I mean, yeah, he's not going to be back next year if you don't re-sign him. And $10 million, 28 years old, he's playing well. But then you kind of look at it, are you doing a disservice to overall, the overall offense? I mean, you're taking away the number one. We just lost Leggett for probably a week or so. I mean, I guess what you get back, but I can't imagine someone's going to give us like a fourth or anything for him. I mean, we traded two guys. I mean, he was going to get cut from Pittsburgh, and Dante Jackson was going to get cut from us. So, I mean, that was what the trade. So, I don't know how much value he really has right now. But, guys, this one was ugly. Makes me sad that we watched it, especially after feeling so good with Dalton. I hope they get back in the lab, kind of figure things out for next week. But, all right, guys. I'm going to sign off now. I want to thank Flying High, Jeremy, Jay, Kent, Bro Man, everybody who joined me on the live stream. Kept me entertained, so I did just talk to myself the whole time, because I miss having a partner. Steven, hurry back. All right. Other than that, we just want to thank everyone for listening. If you like the show, please let your friends know. Please follow us on Twitter at MeowMixPodcast. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at mailbag@meowmixpodcast.com. And we'll be back Thursday for the game preview, probably. We keep wanting to go live on those. I think that'll be a fun give and take, but we'll see. Other than that, everybody, I want to say stay safe and keep pounding.